Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the meeting now.
You get to use the hammer.
I get to use a hammer.
Thursday, February 23rd. I turned 74 a week ago today.
Well, you don't look like you're 74, so I hope I look as good.
Flirt with me all you want. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay. Gotcha. Get everyone sworn in. Do we do the statement
I
first
hate
or
it when
get sworn
doctors say
in?
that, when they say, well, you know, at your age.
Right? Isn't that right? I can't remember.
At your age, you can expect your knee, a normal knee goes to 120 degrees, but at your age, with this replacement,
Paige, do you have that?
can
I
expect
don't have
about
that.
110. I thought,
Oh, the agenda. Wait.
we're going to get more
It
than
might
that out
help
of it.
if I put my, it might help if I put my glasses on. The red tab. No? There it is. White.
Try to give me a couple of
mine's
seconds to get up
empty.
out of this chair for the pledge. Takes a minute to get up.
I had an extra one.
Pat, you are so organized.
So much I missed your book.
Okay. That's interesting that it's not there. Okay. Okay, we will call the meeting to order, and I will wait for Pat to get back to do the roll call. We'll have the roll call when you're ready, ma'am.
Kevin Ross Andino,
I am present.
Dudley Bates,
Here.
Don Peterson, Jane Haynes,
Present?
Yvette Brown. Here.
Okay.
Would you call Ms. Townsend? Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine Townsend.
Present.
I'm sorry, I skipped right over you.
And we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's going to be testifying? Just stand and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the February 23rd, 2023 hearing of the Seminole County, Florida Code Enforcement Board. Before we begin, I'd like to advise everyone about the guidelines and procedures that govern appearances before the Code Enforcement Board. This meeting is open to the public under Florida's government and the Sunshine Law. Therefore, every effort will be made to hear all persons having relevant evidence or argument to offer. It is required that every person who appears before the Code Enforcement Board needs to be registered with the clerk. The case where the respondents are present and signed in will be heard first, and you will be sworn in or affirmed by the clerk. Once all cases where the respondents are present have been heard, the Code Enforcement Board will hear the remaining cases as they appear on the agenda. When your case is called, please be seated at the table reserved for the respondents. The county will present its case, and then the respondent will be allowed to present his or her case. Additionally, please limit your comments to only information related to this case. Each party may question witnesses offered on behalf of the other party, and additionally, staff members may question those appearing before the Code Enforcement Board. This board will then make decision based upon the evidence and testimony presented by both parties. All proceedings before the Code Enforcement Board are electronically recorded, so please speak directly into the microphone at the center of the table and state your name clearly before presenting your case. Should you need assistance due to a hearing impairment or a language barrier, please inform the clerk upon registration. All cell phones and other electronic devices are to be turned off or silenced while inside the chambers. Thank you for your cooperation. So as we just mentioned, the people who are here, thank you for making the effort and taking the time to come to the meeting. So you get to go first. The first case will be Alexander Terrell, Victoria Guerrero, and Thalia Martinez, case number 2301 CEB. So those three. And you have three cases, so if it's okay with you, we will probably hear all three together. Is that okay with you? Okay. So let me just read for the record, 2301 CEB, 2302 CEB, and 2303 CEB. You were here, you were sworn in earlier? Yes, good. Okay. Oh, yes. Can you state your name, please?
Gonzalo Martinez.
Okay. And you,
I'm the state for the three kids.
oh, these are children?
There's children.
No.
Only one is 19 years old, but one of the Thalia Martinez, she's my daughter.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Thank you. Okay. So oh, there you are. Go ahead.
Specialist Shannon Hinson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of this presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2301 CEB, Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, and Talia N. Martinez. The violation is located at 201 Collins Drive, Seminole County, Florida, as determined through the Property Appraiser's Office. The violation charged is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3, uncultivated vegetation. The first observation of the violation on August 11, 2022. A notice of violation was issued on August 1st, 2022, and December 4th, 2022, with a compliance date of September 16th, 2022, and October 19th, 2022. A follow-up inspection was done on 8/12/2022, 8/15/2022, 8/19/2022, 8/24, 8/31/2022, 8/12/2022, 9/20/22, October 3rd, 2022, October 6th, 2022, October 25th, 2022, January 24th, 2023, February 9th, 2023, and February 22nd, 2023. The results of the follow-up inspection, the violation of uncultivated vegetation remains on the property. This photo was taken August 31st, 2022 by Specialist Hinson, which depicts the uncultivated vegetation. These photos were taken on November 12th, 2022 by myself, showing uncultivated vegetation. The next set of photos were taken November 20th, 2022 by myself. This photo was taken October 3rd, 2022. And this one was December 6th, 2022. October, sorry. And this one was taken October 25th, 2022, and also October 25th. These photos were taken January 2023, which still shows uncultivated vegetation. These photos were taken February 9th, 2023. That's when I did the posting of notice of hearing, and the violation still remained. This one was taken February 20. Oh, that was the 9th also, on the same day. This next one was taken on the 22nd, showing that the violation still remained, and that was yesterday. The suggested recommendation is, based on the testimony and evidence presented in the case, number 23-01 CEB, is determined that the respondents, Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, and Talia N. Martinez, are the owners of record of the property located at 201 Collins Drive, located in Seminole County, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser, in possession or control of the property. They are in violation of the Seminole County Chapter 95, Section 95.4, Section 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. It's further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of March 3rd, 2023. In order to correct the violation, the respondents must maintain all the uncultivated vegetation to more than 8 inches in height from the subject property. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact myself to arrange an inspection of the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Officer Henson. Would you proceed with 23-02? We'll just do these all together. Specialist Henson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I'm submitting a copy of the presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This case is 2302 CEB with Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, Talia N. Martinez. The violation is located at 201 Collins Drive, Seminole County, Florida, as determined by the Property Appraiser's Office. Seminole County Code 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3, rubbish. I first observed a violation on August 11, 2022. The violation was, a notice of violation was issued on September 1st, 2022, and October 4th, 2022, with a compliance date of September 16th, 2022, and October 19th, 2022. Follow-up inspections, I did multiple follow-up inspections. The last one was yesterday, 2022-23. The results of the follow-up inspections, the violation of rubbish remained on the subject's property. This photo was taken on August 11, 2022 by myself, showing the rubbish. These photos were taken August 19th, 2022 by myself, and that was taken on the August 19th also. This photo was taken August 24th, 2022. And this was taken August 31st, 2022. This photo was taken September 20th, 2022. This one was taken October 6th, 2022. October 25th, this photo was taken 2022. These photos were taken January 23rd, 2023, and also January 23rd, 2023. These photos were taken February 9th when I did the posting of notice of the hearing of violation, and the violation still remained. And this was also taken on the 9th. The next photos were taken February 22nd, 2023, which was yesterday, showing the violation still remains. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in the case of 2302 CEB. It is determined that the respondents Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, Talia N. Martinez are the owners of record of the property located at 201 Collins Drive, located in Seminole County, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser, in possession or control of the property, and are in violation of Seminole County Chapter 95, Chapter 95.4, Section 95.3, rubbish. It is further recommended that the Seminole County, that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of March 3rd, 2023. In order to correct this violation, the respondents must remove all rubbish from the property. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed each day the violation continues or is in repeat violation, or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact myself to arrange an inspection for the property to verify the compliance, and this concludes my presentation. Thank you. Officer Henson, could you proceed with 23-03?
Specialist Henson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of this presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This case is 2303 CEB, Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, Talia N. Martinez. The violation is located at 201 Collins Drive, Seminole County, Florida, as determined through the Property Appraiser's Office. Seminole County, Chapter 95, 95.4, as defined in Section 95.3F, stagnant or foul water. The first observation of the violation was on August 11, 2022. A notice of violation was issued on August 1st, 2022, and December 4th, 2022, with a compliance date of September 16th, 2022, and October 19th, 2022. There were numerous follow-up inspections. The last one was done yesterday, February 22nd, 2022. The results of the follow-up inspections, the violation of stagnant or foul water remains on the subject property. These pictures were taken on August 11th, 2022 by myself, showing the stagnant or foul water. This photo was taken on August 15th, 2022. The next one is August 31st, 2022. Pardon me. This photo was taken September 20th, 2022, and October 3rd, 2022. This one is October 25th, 2022. This photo was taken January 3rd on 2023. These photos were taken on February 9th, 2023, when I did the posting of notice of hearing a violation, and the violation still remained. The next photo was taken February 22nd, 2022, which was yesterday, showing the violation still remained. The suggested recommendation is, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2303 CEB, is determined that the respondents, Alexander F. Terrell, Victoria R. Guerrero, Talia N. Martinez, are the owners of record of the property located at 201 Collins Drive, located in Seminole County, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser. In possession or control of the property, they are in violation of Seminole County Chapter 95, 95.4, as defined in Section 95.3F, stagnant or foul water. It's further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of March 3rd, 2023. In order to correct the violation, the respondents must remove the stagnant water. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact myself to arrange for the inspection for the property to verify compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Officer Hanson. I was waiting for that. I want to interrupt this conversation just briefly to acknowledge for the record that Mr. Peterson has joined us. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. And so we will come back to you now. Would you please reintroduce yourself for the benefit of Mr. Peterson, who didn't hear any of that?
Yes, my name is Gonzalo Martinez. I'm Talia Martinez's father and the state of the three kids.
Okay, thank you. First of all, does anyone have any questions for Officer Hanson? Mr. Bates.
Just for clarification for the record, a couple of times in her presentation, when she said that she made follow-up visits yesterday, she said that was 2/22/22, and just to correct it and say, I'm sure she
February.
intended to say 23.
23.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one clarification,
Yes, ma'am.
if I might. I want to make sure I understood what I was seeing. If I counted correctly, you have visited this property 13 times? And so with the new date of March the 3rd for compliance, that would be the 14th chance they have had to comply? I wanted to make sure I understood that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Townsend, appreciate the clarification. Okay, so we're back to Mr. Martinez. This is your opportunity to speak for the record. Please begin.
Okay. Well, Monday, I believe, I go down there and clean around the pool. And I plan to, I have in the way the pump to pump the water out because to rent is too expensive and I have to pay for everything. And because the kids, they don't have any any money to do that. And the oldest brother, he live in Georgia, and I think he don't care about anything. He just care about the money, whatever his part. But anyways, I went to empty the pool as soon as that pump get to my house. I ordered an Amazon Monday. I ordered that pump and whatever I have to clean, I went to clean right away. If I have to cut their ass a little bit, I cut it tomorrow.
Mr. Martinez, if I may ask the question, are you aware of all the visits Officer Hanson has
Yeah,
made to the property, and you have spoken to each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know, I have to, when she told me, I don't know, I have to clean around the pool really good. I mean, like, for look clean, and to be safe, the pool, I have the fund to do the fence around, so I pay the fund like $1,500 or $1,600, I don't remember how much is the amount. But I thought that'd be safe because you have the fence around. But now I have to empty again. And there's people living in the back, some bonds, and they're always throw trash everywhere. And they're actually in the property, they have trash everywhere.
Are you saying there are vagrants on the backside of the property?
Yes.
Have you notified law enforcement about that?
No, I just told her right now.
Was that part of your report? I'm sorry, Officer Henson, I didn't hear anything about
No,
that.
there is a homeless campsite around his area.
Oh.
And the deputies have been over there, but we talked what he needs to do next.
Okay, so he's aware of his options? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Any questions for Mr. Martinez? Mr. Bates?
Sir, could you tell us why, at least in your opinion, that there had to be 12, soon to be 13 visits to this property before these owners paid any attention and made any efforts to correct these 3 problems?
Yes. Well, what happened, Alexander, he's the older brother, she texts him because at some point, he come to Florida and he say, I'm the owner and I want to take care of the property and you have nothing to do with it. I say, okay, if you want to feel responsible, go ahead. And he start talk to her, but he's doing nothing. This is why I let it go a little bit, but as soon as she contact me, I take care again the everything she told me. I mean, because I know like problems, I want to keep everything where it's supposed to be. I know, like right now, if she told me do this and have to clean this and that, I want to do it. Because like what I'm saying, I know like problems and I know one pants.
So you've only gotten involved with this lately, not from the original inspections last year?
I have involved part last year. I'm the one empty the pool last year and I clean everything, but there's still rains and have a wear again, like halfway.
Okay, thank you.
I have a few things I'd like to ask. So
Absolutely.
This isn't meant to be a cross-examination, but I'm trying to understand. So I'm assuming of the 3 people, 2 of them are children, they inherited this property?
Yeah.
So and when did they inherit the property?
When?
Yes, how long have they've been considered the record owners of the property?
Probably like 6 years, I believe.
6 years, and so has it always been vacant and empty like that whole 6 years?
Well, what happened, I'm the original owner of that property. My ex-wife, the mom for I buy the house cash, and so we get divorced. I leave the house to her, and then she passed away, and she lived to the 3 kids, and the original her sister, my ex-wife, she got in charge to the house, but they don't pay taxes because the taxes is very expensive, and they can afford to pay. So I applied to be the state of the kids to take care of the property because obviously they don't wanna pay taxes, they don't wanna do nothing. So the taxes is like 3,000 and something a year, and I pay all that money, and that's like almost 3 years behind when I come to state of that house. So all this time I there have somebody renting right there when my wife passed away. There have somebody renting right there, and there have some contract for 10 years, no pay rent, just fix the house, and he not do anything. I have to hire a lawyer to kick him out, and this take me all the coronavirus thing, like 2 years and a half to kick him out, and after that, the property is empty, probably like 2 years now. And now I trying to sell the property, but to sell the property, the other two parts of the oldest kids and the father to the little girl Victoria, they have to do the state we can go to court and agree to sell the house, all three parts.
But right now, according to everything, you're the one that's responsible for making sure that, I know the other kid wanted to do it, but you accepted responsibility to make sure the house is properly maintained. Is
Yeah.
that fair? Okay.
Yeah.
That was it with my questions.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. When you say children, what are those ages?
Well, the oldest one says no children anymore. He's like 20, and Victoria, she's like 10 years old, and my daughter, she's 17. My daughter have autism.
And just for clarification, they live there alone, or do you live there
No,
too?
my daughter live with me, and the other two parts, I don't know where they live. I know the older ones live in Georgia, but Victoria, I don't know where she lives.
So is the house unoccupied now?
Yeah, it's empty right now.
Oh. I see. Any other questions for Mr. Martinez? Do you understand the fine structure that Officer Henson has proposed, which is roughly $400 a day if you don't
Yes.
meet the deadline? Are you able to meet the deadline of March 3rd to get all the work done?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Peterson?
I'd like to ask that again. March 3rd's coming up here in a week or so,
No, wait. Yeah.
so you can get all that cleaned up and
Yes.
get with the officer and square
Well-
things up?
I'm sorry.
That's
Well,
okay.
most the trash is right there around the pool, so I clean. All I have to do is empty the pool and maybe cut a little bit in the side of the grass, right?
Yes. The
That's what I
grass
need
needs
to
to
do.
be cut in the back and the rubbish.
The whole back?
Yeah, your property part, yes.
Okay.
I would suggest you get with the officer, make sure you have
Yeah,
clarification.
I just want to make sure because in the picture I see,
He's buying them.
is where I have to,
It goes all the way back to your shed area.
yeah,
Yeah.
right there. Okay,
You don't have to cut past that.
okay.
So my question was, do you think you can get that done in a week?
Yeah.
Okay?
No, you just bought the pump, right? You just got the pool pump?
I need to get a
Right,
pump.
yeah, so-
But for in case I know get it, I can rent one.
You ordered a pump on Amazon, you said?
Yeah.
When is it going to come in?
If you want, I can show you.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're supposed to come yesterday, but they say running late, so
Yeah, I think he's going to need a little more time just to have the package arrive.
I think so, too. Yeah. Okay.
Officer Henson, I'm sorry. Can I-
No, go ahead. Yes, jump in.
If we give him maybe to the 10th, would that be sufficient for you to give him notice for the next hearing if he doesn't comply or if we need to do anything?
Yes, I did have one question, though. Is that going to be like a sump pump, or is it going to be like a pool pump that's going to
Pool.
run all the time?
no.
Keep it empty?
No, this is just whenever get water, I can go back.
It has to work. It has to work like a pool. It has to be a pump that makes it work like a pool.
So
Or
it
you have
stays
to remove
empty.
the pool.
Like when it rains, it has to stay empty.
All the time when it rain, I have to go back and empty the pool. Because, I mean, that's expensive if I,
Or remove the
Electricity.
pool. Or remove the pool. Completely
Or
completely remove the
or
pool.
the tarp, a tarp that I was talking about, you could put the tarp over it so that no water and no one could fall in it.
I have to find out who do those. I don't know anything about that. I mean,
So they're asking if you need till March 10th?
maybe I need more time to find the people do the tarp because I cannot do it myself. I don't know where I can get it. I know that'll be expensive, but
I will make a motion just so we can move this along. I move to accept the fine structure that Officer Henson suggested. I think a realistic date would be sometime in the middle of March, like, I guess our next meeting is on the 23rd, which is a Thursday, but maybe the 21st of March to get into compliance, and then the fines would kick in. That should give you a little bit over 3 weeks. So I would move to accept the fine structure and giving him till March 21st to comply.
Who has the motion?
Yes, a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded that we extend the time for you to get the work done.
Thank you.
Until March 21st, okay? And any questions? Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Mr. Martinez, you have been given,
We have one.
oh, we have one nay. I'm sorry, Catherine, I'm sorry. Do you want to have a question or go any further?
Voting nay, I think that's too long of an extension.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Mr. Martinez, this was a generous gift from the board because we believe that you do have every intention of getting the work done, and we ask that you work closely with Officer Henson so you really understand what it is she expects you to do, okay?
Luck.
Good luck.
thank you.
That's all we need
That's it.
from you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
So we're taking the cases a little bit out of order. The next one, the person who is in the audience is case number 2306 with Michael Rice. Please have a seat and state your name for the record.
Michael Rice.
Thank you. Officer Henson?
Specialist Henson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of the presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2306 CEB, Michael Rice. The violation is located at 112 Fairway Drive, Seminole County, Florida, as determined through the Property Appraiser's Office. Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, 95.4, as defined in 95.3A as rubbish. I first observed the violation February 1st, 2022. A notice of violation was issued on June 3rd, 2022, and July 18th, 2022, with a compliance date of June 28th, 2022, and August 3rd, 2023. Follow-up inspections on March 8th, 2022, March 22nd, 2022, May 31st, 2022, June 29th, 2022, July 12th, 2022, July 15th, 2022, August 15th, 2022, December 9th, 2022, February 1st, 2023, February 9th, 2023, and February 22nd, 2023. Results of the follow-up inspection, the violation of rubbish remains on the property. These photos were taken on June 13th, 2022 by myself showing rubbish. This photo was taken on July 15th, 2022. These photos were taken also on the 15th of 2022 of July. These photos were taken August 15th, 2022. This photo was taken December 9th, 2022. This photo was taken February 9th, 2022, when I posted the notice of hearing for violation. The violation still remained. The next photo was taken yesterday, February 22nd, 2023, showing the violation still remains. The suggested recommendation is, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2306, it is determined that the respondent, Michael Rice, is the owner of the record of the property located at 112 Fairway Drive, located in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and are in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, 95.4, Section 95.3A rubbish. It is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of March 3rd, 2023. In order to correct the violation, the respondents must remove all the rubbish from the subject property. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $100 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact myself to arrange for an inspection of the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Henson? I have one, just to be clear. You visited the property many, many, many times, taking pictures. Was there communication going on all that time with?
Yes, me and Mr. Rice spoke a few times. I got a hold of him. He had COVID, and he had been out for surgery, and so I would go over there, and that was about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Seeing no questions for Officer Henson, Mr. Rice, this is your opportunity to speak.
So I'm not here to contest the debris. As you notice, I have several trailers. On those trailers were air conditioners. I was a AC contractor for 25 years. Just recently retired because of a car accident in March 27th of 2001. In some of these photos, you'll see some white planters. I've talked to Ms. Henson about removing them, but since the accident, I have 2 herniated discs in my neck, 2 in my back, and I had COVID last year. This year, I've been sick. I'm 4-stage kidney disease. So there's just a limit of what I can do. My son used to live with me, and he would help me up till last year when all this started happening. And so I worked up until October of last year, and that's as far as I could do. I could not physically work anymore. So I got very comfortable in bringing home my stuff from the job, and I scrapped my old equipment out, and some of those up in that trailer right there that you see, they're actually working units. The air handlers were no good, the condensers are fine, and so I'll list them to be sold and be installed by somebody else. But I'm very limited in what I can do. The picture on our right, on this side, is my new driveway that got poured today. I pulled a permit for that. I have a permit to put a new electrical meter box in my house, and I picked up my permit for my fence that I applied for in December to do my fence going all the way around the property. That includes putting a new fence, a new gate on the left-hand side. This is a 6-foot privacy fence. It's going to include a 6.5-foot high gate on the left side of the house. And then on the right side of the house, the reason why all that stuff was on that trailer is because it was behind the gate. When I bought the property about 8 years ago, there was a gate right there going down the right side of the property. Well, apparently it was in the easement. And so I had to remove that in order to do the driveway, and I have to set it back to a foot off the front of the house to be in code compliance with the building department. So that wasn't planned on being pulled out of there. When Ms. Henson, Officer Henson has addressed issues, I'd go out there and do as much as I can. She can testify that there's times that she could see the presence of me moving things around. I'm constantly moving things around. I'm retired now. I have listings on Marketplace to sell some of my equipment and stuff that I was using doing business. I am in the process of getting my surgery for my neck to be done between the end of March and the beginning of April. The attorneys are working out all the financial because I have a lawsuit against the car accident. And so, but I am needing a surgery. Sometimes I can't even leave the house because of the pain. So I'm moving forward as well as I can. I asked the board to give me until June 1st to have this mess cleaned up. I can't see being done before, because after I have my surgery in the middle, again, plan is between the end of March and the beginning of April, I have 8 weeks of rehab that I have to do. in order to get back to where I've been. Now, my plan is to clean that up once the driveway's poured. I can't do anything until Monday, putting the stuff back and getting some help to put the gate back up. So all that stuff that was on the trailer and what I had to pull out of that area is out there because of the fact that I had to take the gate down. So that gate's going to go back up temporarily until I can get the other gate fabricated and installed. So that's I'm at your mercy. I mean, I have no other choice. I don't have any help. That's one of the other reasons is the stress that I was in as a air conditioning contractor trying to find help. Even people, they say they want to work, but nobody goes out and goes to work anymore. So just to get my driveway done, it took me over a month to get people to respond to it. And that poor guy that did that driveway, he poured 14 yards of concrete today by himself because his help didn't show up.
I appreciate everything you're going through, and you do understand that nobody expects you to personally do all the work that's got to be done.
I understand that, yes.
Okay. As the property owner, you need to see that it gets done, but nobody's expecting you to do it. I wanted to be clear about that. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Rice?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Between the two of you, is it my understanding that the gates and the equipment being behind the gates will put him in compliance? Is that what he's trying to tell us? Is that the deal about the gates? You're going to move the
Well,
equipment behind the gates?
The ultimate goal is to sell off, as you can see in some of the, like right there, you can see there's ladders on the thing, on the side up by the gate. I am trying to get rid of some of the stuff that I know I'm never going to be able to use, like ladders. I can't climb ladders anymore. My prosthetic did not stop me. This is 8 years old. I went to work, but being stable enough to be able, and so a lot of that stuff is, I have 2 air conditioners on the side of the house that have been sold. I sold the job in December. In December, we pulled the permits. I can't even put them in because Volusia County doesn't have, and I have somebody that's doing that work. I understand, I respect the comment about hiring somebody to do it. I have made so many arrangements with friends and family to come and help me do some of this stuff. And yes, and we did do some of this stuff throughout the time that, there was times that Miss Officer Henson came by and she could see that there was improvement. That's when I was able to get help to come over and help me do the stuff.
All right, the gates will not bring him into compliance.
That's what I thought.
That
The
was
gates
my
will not
question.
bring
The
him into
gates will not do
No,
that.
the gates will not bring him into
Okay.
compliance.
May I make one suggestion?
Certainly.
Perhaps you might look towards some civic organization, Boy Scouts, Rotary, any of those things those organizations that do cleanup days that might be willing to help you do some of that.
I've actually solicited my church. Most of my church members are elderly. They can cut grass and things like that. That's pretty much all they can do. Yes, I was a scoutmaster for 15 years, and I understand that they do stuff like that. The problem is I need to sell it, and I'm working on selling it. To give it away, I give away a lot of things, but to give away tools and equipment that my company paid hard-earned money, I've got to recoup something back off of it. And I do give it away. I gave an extension ladder away the other day. I said, hey, they wanted to borrow it. I said, keep the ladder. I don't need it anymore, you know? But I just need a little bit more time. The flower planters, they're gone. I built them when the pandemic was going. For a year, I had tomatoes and peppers and everything growing through there. When I caught COVID, I couldn't do it anymore. So, and then I went back to work, and I was working. I couldn't keep up with it. We just had them removed. So, you know, I'm trying to sell the boat, the John boat, because I can't use that John boat anymore. I've asked my sons. They both moved to North Carolina. They don't want the boat because they have to take it up there, and they live in an apartment complex. They'll be in the same boat that I'm in. No
Mr.
pun
Bates.
intended.
Sir, if you proceed trying to take care of this problem and correct these conditions as aggressively as you can, what would be your best estimate as to a time deadline that you think you could reasonably meet?
Well, so my process to do my fence is to clean up the backyard and clean all that stuff up. That has to be done in order to get to the fence area along the side of the house and stuff. My permit is a 6-month permit. I mentioned June 1st would be a realistic date to be able to be in compliance with debris and stuff like that. I think I can be able to sell off some of the stuff. Whatever I can't, when it gets close to that time, I can give away or donate. I've already donated some of the stuff to my church, like the 2 blue ladders that are sitting on the side of the house. We just just had a building built, and the church needs ladders. So I gave 2 ladders, a 12-foot A-frame ladder and an 8-foot A-frame ladder. I have what you call a duck lift that you crank up and hang air conditioners up in the ceilings and stuff. I donated that to the church because they have tall ceilings and they want to be able to hang stuff off the rafters and stuff.
Can I ask
So I'm working on it. And in meantime.
Excuse me, Mr. Rice, we have a question for the officer. Just a minute.
Was this self-observed or citizen complaint?
Pardon me?
Was this self-observed or a citizen complaint?
It was a complaint.
From a neighbor? From a neighbor, I see, okay. Sorry.
I don't know who the neighbor is, but I can only assume that it was Open Door. Open Door sold a house across the street for ungodly amounts of money. Doesn't even warrant the neighborhood, but anyway, I just think that they were having problems. That house sat with Open Doors post for 3 months. And once I started cleaning up, it kind of sold within a couple weeks. So I can only assume that's who it is. I've never had a complaint with my neighbor. Actually, my one neighbor works in this building right here.
Excuse me, Mr. Peterson, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to cut to the chase and see what that date would be that you had in mind. I know earlier you said something about June.
June 1st.
June 1st? You
Yes,
think
sir.
that's a reasonable and
I do
accurate-
believe I can have all I need done.
So you're
As again, I
certain-
can't do the fence. I'm going to
Surgery will
solicit.
be done and all that, and you'll be,
I hope, that's my goal. Yes, sir.
Mr.
As long
Peterson,
as nothing happens between now and then.
yes, sir.
Mr. Peterson,
Thank you.
are you making a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that, let me look at the calendar real quick.
Well, I just wanted to clarify before he does that, because
Yeah.
we're mixing apples and oranges. We're not asking you to build a fence.
Right.
We're asking him to remove stuff from the property, and this is his choice on how long you want to take to do the removal, right? Is that my
So the
understanding?
fence-
I'm asking the officer first. We're asking him to remove stuff so that the property looks better.
The violation
We're not asking
is
him to
rubbish.
build anything or to redo anything.
The
The
fence,
violation's rubbish.
Correct.
the fence has nothing to do with the
Right.
violation.
The fence comes into play because I was violated originally for several offenses,
Well,
not
that's-
just the
that's-
rubbish.
That's history. We're talking about today.
I'm talking about today too, ma'am. So the reason why the fence comes into play, and I shared this with Officer Henson yesterday, that in order to do the fence, I have to pull the vehicle out that we put back behind the one gate in order to get to that fence line, and that was not in compliance at the same time. She had that as a violation. So I don't want to get in a situation where I'm trying to get the fence done, she goes by, and now I'm violating because there's a vehicle out front that's inoperable.
That's a fair question. Let's clear that up.
So
Officer
June
Henson,
1st is a good date.
to get the rubbish removed?
Yeah, I don't care about the fence either.
We don't
I
care about the fence.
Violation.
And like I said, I still will have to pull that truck out in the parking lot as long as I'm clear and able to pull that truck out and have sufficient time to run that fence down that line. And if Miss Henson comes by and sees that truck sitting in the driveway again, that it doesn't become another issue.
Could you speak to that, Officer Henson, please?
Well, I can open another case if that would happen, but as you notice, I have worked with him because I do see progress that he makes. So if I go there and he gives me a reasonable amount of time, I can give him another 2 weeks, and then I can come back and check. But I'm not just going to keep not violating him for that.
I see.
So I'll make a motion that we do give him time to June 1st to get all the rubbish out of there and take care of whatever you need to do, but to clear up all the violations that we've talked about here today. And you just agreed that that would be a good date.
I agree.
So that's my motion.
Is there a
Move
second?
it to June 1st.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Mrs. Townsend,
No, thank you.
are you sure? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You have till June 1st to remove the rubbish, and please stay in touch with Officer Henson.
I will.
Thank you.
For coming.
Next case up for people who are in the audience is case number 21-10 CEB, Ansara Ahmed, trustee. Please have a seat and state your name for the record, please. This case, oh, have you been sworn in?
Well, I was not informed personally, but they just pasted the, they put the,
Hold on,
on
hold
my
on.
property.
Hold on.
Just stand up. so you
Just
can get
stand
sworn.
up, please, and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
There you go. This case is on page 9, under lien requests. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This is case 2110 CEB. The violation is located at 1148 West Lakeview Circle in Altamont Springs. The violation charge was Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 12, Section 30.202. A multifamily dwelling is not a permitted use in an R1 AA zone. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on April 22nd, 2021, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of June 20th, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was issued by the Code Enforcement Officer after reinspection on June 22nd, 2021. There were several continuances given to the respondent while trying to obtain compliance. An affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on January 19th, 2023. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on April 22nd, 2021, I'm asking the board to reduce the lien to administrative costs. My costs are $349.64, and the clerk's costs are $471, for a total of $820.64. If the costs are not paid, the lien shall revert back to the original lien amount of $57,700 if not paid within 30 days. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Officer Hill. Any questions for Officer Hill? No. Hearing none. Mr. Ahmed, it is your opportunity to speak.
Yes, because I think that I am the victim of the, bureaucracy, because we bought the property in about 6 or 7 years ago, and this property was built, multi-family, as from the day it was built and approved by the county, and when I bought it, there was no violation, nothing, and I did not initiate any violation or did any violation, and then all of a sudden, in about 2 years ago, I was not served any notice of violation. All of a sudden, 2 years ago, I was told that I am in violation, that they should be in the single family, and I'm using and renting as a multi-family. So, and I, my manager and myself, we talked to the county, and we came into the first hearing that I was served, for the notice. This was the first one, and I was told by lawyer that you also had ignored, the violations, notices. I never did even one notice of violation, because the first notice I received violation 2 years ago, and then I came here in the hearing, and I was not allowed to present my case because we insisted, me and my board member, me and my manager, Mark Raponi, was here and I was sitting here and we asked to present our case. We were not allowed to speak even for 1 second. And unilaterally, the board decided we are in violation and we should correct it, as a single family home. And the way it was built, it was impossible to make it as a single family home because it was built about 55 years ago as a multi-family and approved by the county, and now no illegal activity was done by the previous owner or myself, we did as is, and we were not, so then I had to hire the lawyer, and not a single person from the county visited the premises to know that what violation, what irregular activity I had done to the premises. Nobody came in, and I was asked to administrative cost this much. I don't know what the administrative cost is, because nobody visited, did not serve me any notice, before that, then I had to hire the lawyer, to do that, In fact, I didn't need a lawyer if we done that ourselves, I was willing to do everything. When 2 years ago I came in, I was willing to accept without a legal representation. I'm going to do that, but the way the board feels it, whatever the county wants me to, but physically it's impossible. They can come, they can send somebody, anybody in the premises, and see that this is impossible. This was built as a multi-family, and it was impossible physically to convert it into single family home,
Okay, sir, can I?
Yes, please.
All right. So what is 9037 Southern Breeze Drive, Orlando, Florida?
This is my home.
Okay. So that's where all of the information regarding this case has been mailed to?
No.
No. Don't interrupt. Let me finish.
Okay.
So that is the address where the county has sent all the information, and pursuant to the Chapter 162, all that's required is that they send it to the address listed on the property appraiser site, and that's what they've done. So from the very beginning, this matter started in 2021, all information has been sent to the correct address. There's been no violation of due process. The only thing before this board today is whether or not they want to reduce the fine that has accrued to administrative cost, because you are now in compliance. It's not an opportunity to rehear the case. It was started over 2 years ago. There were time periods where you could have appealed decisions made by the board. Those times have passed. So the only decision that the board has to make today is whether you choose to reduce the fine to administrative cost associated with the case that's been open for 2 years.
Thank you. Any questions from the
Make a
board?
motion.
Please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the deal of Mr. Ahmed paying $820.64 versus $57,000. And
It needs
What,
to
is
be
there a
paid by
time?
March 25th, which is 30 days.
one more time,
March 25th, 2023.
Okay,
Or it
so
reverts back to the
by
original
March
amount.
25th, you got to pay $820, or it reverts back to $57,000. So I'm sure you got the picture, and that's my motion.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Bates. Any questions, any further information? No, your opportunity has passed. The board is voting now.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Ahmed, you've been given a gift, as Mr. Peterson said, $820 as opposed to $57,700, provided that you pay it in the next 30 days. If you have any questions, speak with Officer Hill, please. Thank you for coming.
All right, so I don't see anyone else in chambers, so you can start at the top of the agenda.
Go back to the top. Okay, so the next in line, going back to the top, is case 23-04, Hallie Groover, on page 4, or page 3, sorry. Officer Bavaro.
Officer Guerrero. Thank you. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I'll be submitting a copy of the PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2304 CEB, Hallie Groover. Property is located at 645 Veneer Drive. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, which is rubbish. Initial inspection was on 4/14/22. Notices were issued, compliance date of 6/9/72/88/2022, and then on 8/29/2022. The most recent inspection as of 2/21/23 revealed that the violation remained on the property. Images you're about to see accurately depict the violations on the dates in which they were taken. This one on 4/14/2022. There was a junked vehicle violation, the boat, there was vegetation, fence, and then rubbish. You'll see some of those got corrected. On 6/8/2022, new debris was outside, the boat was gone, the fence, rubbish, and vegetation remained. And then on 8/30/2022, some new debris is out at the curb, assumably being taken from the back. And then on 12/13, the fence violation and the vegetation violation were corrected. However, the rubbish violation remains, and this is my notice of posting for the property on 2/9/2023. So request the board issue an order, or based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2304 CEB, determined that the respondent is the owner of record of the property located at 645 Veneer Drive, in possession and control of property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined in 95.3A. Request the board issue an order for compliance on March 9, 2023. In order to comply, they will remove all the rubbish from the property, or a fine of $100 a day be imposed. When I started this case, I did speak to the grandson of the property owner. He informed me that there was a reverse mortgage on the house. They had moved up north. At one point, we got on a three-way phone call with a reverse mortgage company with the respondent's grandson and myself. They then assigned a property management company to the property. They have made compliance. I do speak to them on a regular basis. They're just waiting on the paperwork to come through to have the rubbish approved to be removed. So they were aware of this hearing. I sent them an email letting them know with a copy of the notice of hearing, so they're very aware of it. I was surprised nobody was here. But they are making progress, just not quick enough. So that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro?
I do.
Ms. Townsend?
So you think March 9th is a reasonable timeframe?
It's reasonable, in my opinion. Whether that they get it done in that amount of time is a different story. They got everything else done. One left.
Okay.
I would move the officer's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the staff's recommendation. Any questions? Further information? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case is 19-20 CEB, Craig McNair, personal representative for the state of Charles Bailey. Officer Tamulonis.
Good afternoon. I'm here on case number 1920 CEB, Officer Tamulonis, Code Enforcement, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, North Region. If you recall, last month I was here and explained that I had come across some information regarding Mr. McNair, who is a representative for this estate, and discovered that he had apparently been going through a lot of difficult circumstances, and I had not been able to actually talk to him, but it was something that seemed worthy of looking into and giving continuance on that, and you did grant that. I was able to locate him. He was in the hospital on the 13th of February. He was still in the hospital. I spoke to him again a couple of days ago, and he is actually trying to get someone to rectify this problem, but it is difficult to get contractors out there when people are calling him to go to rehab or go take some other test. And so he was asking if I could, on his behalf, try and get another month continuance for this hearing. With all the information that I know of what he has been through, I would request we give him 2 more months and see if he can make it in here and hopefully have that all rectified. Prior to that, for the April hearing. If that is your choice, then we will just ask for another continuance. Otherwise, I can present this case if you prefer to do it that way.
Okay. Any questions for Officer Tamulanis?
Make a motion?
Ms. Townsend
Ms.
has-
Townsend has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I understood. Why has this gone on for 4 years?
This has not gone on for 4 years. This
Was
is a
it the
repeat-
original one in 19?
Yes, that's the original. This is a repeat violation, which I believe was actually since August, since this became a repeat violation.
Okay.
And that's about the time that his difficulties started, and they were multiple. I know that for sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
Yes, I move to accept the officer's recommendation to extend for 2 months, and I believe the guy will come around and handle it.
So just continue.
Second.
Yeah.
We just continue the case?
Continue the
Yeah,
case
that's fine.
Okay.
until the April hearing.
We have a second?
Second.
You've got seconds and thirds.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's been continued. All right. The next one is 22-08. This looks familiar, too. 22-08, Norma L. Lundy. Officer Hill?
2 cases.
Oh, there are 2?
Yep.
Oh, I missed that.
Next one.
Okay, sorry. 2208 and 2209. Officer Hill, if you would present both of those at the same time, thank you. Or together.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This is case 2208 CEB Norma L. Lundy, located at 1226 Flint Trail in Geneva. The violation charged was Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B. Uncultivated vegetation. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on February 24th, 2022, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of March 11th, 2022. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on March 14th, 2022. On July 28th, 2022, an order was issued continuing this case to the October 27th, 2022 hearing. The September, October, and December code enforcement hearings were canceled. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on February 24th, 2022, I'm asking the Code Enforcement Board to reduce the lien of $17,450 for 349 days of noncompliance from March 12th, 2022 through and including February 23rd, 2022 to $100. If the fine is not paid, the administrative cost is not paid within $30, I'm asking for the lien to revert back to the original amount. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Case 22-09.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This is case 2209 CEB, located at 1226 Flint Trail in Geneva. The violation charged was Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A. For rubbish, this case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on February 24th, 2022, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of March 11th, 2022. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on March 14th, 2022. On July 28th, 2022, an order was issued continuing this case to the October 27th, 2022 hearing. The September, October, and December Code Enforcement Board hearings were canceled. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on February 24th, 2022, I'm asking the board to reduce the lien in the amount of $34,900 for 349 days of noncompliance to administrative costs of $100. If the fine is not paid within 30 days, then the lien shall revert back to the original amount. This concludes my presentation.
Any questions for Officer Hill? I have one. What is your thinking about leaving $50,000 on the table?
They cannot afford it. I can flat out tell you they cannot afford this lien. I know the property owner, Miss Lundy, she has stage 4 cancer. She does have family members that live there, and her son, Andrew, has helped clean this property up by himself. They have had these same code violations in the past, but they are fully understand, after my conversation with Andrew Lundy yesterday, that since this has been taken to code board, and if I get another complaint again, and he immediately cut me off, said, I know the fine will start running. So they fully understand that if these violations come back, it will be a repeat violation and the fines will start running.
But they won't be able to afford that either. Just saying.
It's in compliance right now?
Yes, sir. For both cases.
Okay.
Any questions?
I would move the officer's recommendation in both cases to reduce the fines as shown to $100 in each case.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. A second, Mr. Townsend, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Officer Hill, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so what you have left on your agenda are 2 lien requests.
Right.
And so those respondents were properly noticed, and I don't see anyone in chambers, so they could do these by consent.
Okay.
Right?
Check your agenda. What does the recommendation for the Boothby case state?
The Boothby case states that the recommendation to reduce the fine to administrative cost totaling $465.65 to be paid by March 25th, or it reverts back to the original amount of $11,000 and constitute a lien. And then on the wills matter, which is item 11, the recommendation is impose a lien in the amount of $14,150 for 283 days of non-compliance from May 17, 2022 through and including February 23, 2023, and that fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day if it continues after today's date. So if you so agree, you just can say yes. If there are any objections, they can say no. But you don't, that's how you kind of do
Okay.
it by consent. It's called doing it by consent.
We can do this by consent. Are there any questions for our attorney or for
No.
Officer Hill?
Nope, I'm a yes.
I mean, it's,
Yes.
Yes? All
Yes.
yeses?
Okay, those are granted.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you. And then we have 2 complied priors. And I guess the approval of the minutes of January 26th is listed as the next item of business.
Did you have an opportunity to look at those? They were-
Yes.
Someone needs to make a motion.
I will move to approve them.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to that? Any questions? No? Okay, all approved. Confirmation next meeting, March 23, 2023. I've been told that we are under scrutiny because we canceled 3 meetings in a row. And I don't know if there's a question of our commitment or what the question is, but I've been told.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
There's a concern that we canceled 3 meetings in a row in the fall. And
because of me and you didn't have a quorum.
we didn't have a quorum, wasn't always about you. No, I had a baby, and so I missed one. So we had legitimate reasons, but apparently it's an issue. So I'm just asking to note the date for March 23rd, and everybody try to be here. Thank
I'll
you.
be here.
Thank you.
All right.
This concludes our meeting, unless you have any further business for us.
No, I think we're going to schedule our workshop for April, the
Oh.
April meeting. And
Okay.
we'll probably do it before this meeting.
Oh, like a
so-
bag lunch?
Like a bag lunch. But Pat and I will finalize the details and get it to you.
Okay.
What is that for?
The workshop that we do every year so that we can kind of review Chapter 162, and we can also talk about
Yes.
ethics and, just protection as board
Sunshine law
members,
and all that.
sunshine law, and all
Okay.
those kinds of things. So for right now, kind of pencil it in for the April meeting, probably starting at about, what do you think, 11:30, to give us time, but we'll finalize it and let you know.
Yvette, I
What
have
day is that going to be?
The April meeting,
Okay,
April
coming at 11:30
at 11:30.
here.
I think so.
Or
We'll get you
upstairs.
all the details, but remember, we've always done it in the chamber room around the corner of the
Okay.
workshop room.
That works.
Yvette, I have a question for you, and I don't know if we always have to do this on the record or not, so that'll depend on how I ask my question, but I have just a philosophical question I want to ask the code enforcement officers about when we have the liens and how we come to the recommendations of these small, little minuscule, little administrative cost fees, what's the rationale for that? And just out of curiosity, because it seems to be such a drastic departure that we go and we vote, and these liens amass to $50,000 and $60,000, and then they fix it, then we go down to $100. What's the rationale behind that? Because to me, if people get wind of that, then they're never going to charge me it anyway. What the hell do I care? Excuse my French, but why do I care? And so that's just for my own, in voting on these things, kind of wanted to understand why we make such a drastic departure from such a larger amount of money. Just so I can understand.
So
it.
generally speaking, how are administrative
question.
costs calculated is the question.
So we have a table of, it goes by time of how much time it costs us to go out in the field to do certain inspections, to whether we have joint inspections, such as, generally speaking, if our helicopter happens to be in the neighborhood, they capture some photos, that's $700 an hour. So if we know the background of the family, or we know some extreme circumstances where they're not going to be able to afford our costs, then we can drop certain costs.
So it's a courtesy, the counties is really basically, you're in compliance, kind of feel sorry for your circumstance, we're going to kind of forgive you. Is that kind of the philosophy?
Because our goal is compliance.
Right.
We don't want to tax.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, the Orlando Sentinel wrote a story that said we, the royal we here, had $54 million of outstanding fines that had not been paid. So what is the status of that money now? Who has the answer? I don't know.
I don't have an exact amount, and technically the amount was a little over 58 million, but we proceeded to do a lien amnesty program. It was supposed to last for 6 months, and it lasted a little over 2 years. So it did bring a lot of the older cases into compliance, reduce those liens. But for every one we could reduce, we have new ones going on. So I don't have the exact amount to give you. It's been probably since last May since I've looked at that spreadsheet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, officers.
All right.
Hearing no further questions, no further business to come before the board, we are adjourned.
I was going to grab that and do that.